How does pre-infusion affect the taste of your coffee? This is Coffee with Arthur, where I whisk my beans so you don't have to, and today we're going to be looking at different pre-infusion profiles on an Olympia Cremina and a DF64 grinder. Today's beans are nothing special. I just got some cheap beans at a local place in Tokyo because I'm going to be using a lot, and I just wanted to use the cheapest thing, so I'm not even going to show these on the brand or anything like that. But these are a medium roast. This is a very safe roast, a very flexible roast, so even if you make mistakes, it's really great. But check it out. Let's look at the grind. Let's look at the roast level here. You can see it's kind of a lightish brown, so it's medium. I would say it's like on the medium side of medium, so the medium of mediums, I would say. It's not super dark. And now let's look at the density a little bit too, just to figure out what we're working with. So I filled up the cup pretty much, and this is at 16 grams. So it's not super light dense. It's definitely very characteristic of a medium roast. This is an all-out flat medium roast, which is exactly what I wanted. So I'm gonna be experimenting here by putting 15 grams in and 30 grams out using different pre-infusion methods here. So let me explain first why people wanna do pre-infusion, why I like doing pre-infusion. So pre-infusion means that you run the beginning of the shot underneath very low pressure, and then you ramp up to a higher pressure. Now, why would you wanna do that? When you start off at a really high pressure, some interesting things happen. The top part of the puck comes underneath really high pressure water quickly and saturates quickly, but the rest of the puck beneath that is still dry. And so it actually can create a bottlenecking where you have to put on a really, really high pressure in order to push it through. And that can cause some puck breakage. Now, if you do a low pressure at first, what will happen is the puck will more slowly, more evenly saturate with water, so you can pull out a more even extraction that way. This means that running a longer pre-infusion can help you with channeling and make your espresso extraction more even. But also, depending on how high of a pressure you use at the pre-infusion, the taste can change. You know, pressure is really good for accentuating the flavors at that section, of that stage of the extraction. And so if you start off with a lower extraction, it can help to offset the acidity of some lighter roasts. So in this video, I'm going to do 3 pre-infusion profiles. One, I'm going to do with no pre-infusion whatsoever and see what happens. The next one I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pre-infusion at the bare basic level. So I'm just going to raise the lever and let about 5 or 6 drops come out of the group head, and then I'm going to pull the shot. And then I'm going to do, for my third shot, I'm going to do a more traditional pre-infusion of about 3 bar, and I'm going to do that for the first 2 grams, and then I'm going to pull a traditional espresso shot. And then if we have time, I'm gonna go for an extra shot where it's not gonna be a short 1 or 2 gram pre-infusion. I'm gonna do a long 5, 6, 7 gram pre-infusion and then pull the shot, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's get started. So I have my DF64 grind setting at 10, and I'm gonna put 15 grams in, and we're gonna pull a 30 gram shot. Let's go. Great. And as always, grinds are everywhere on here. All right, let's see how much we got out in here. So first, I think you guys can see that the grounds are really fluffy coming straight out. This is no WDT used at all. But let's see. Okay, this is great. We had 15 grams in, 14.9 out, so this is pretty good retention. All right, now let's do some simple WDT right here, just in case. All right, and then 1 shot down. Okay, look at that, beautiful. All right, so now I'm just gonna do a quick tamp. As you guys can see, there's a lot of headroom here, so this is gonna make for a pretty even shot, I think. Okay, then one quick preparatory flush. Ooh, yeah, I love that. Okay. Now the temperature is right around the 80 mark. It's fully hit the 80 degrees Celsius bar. This is a good temperature for medium roast. So let's get this going. Great. Let's get this going. Okay. No pre-infusion. This is hurting. There we go. There we go. Okay, great. As you guys can see, this is great crema with a really rich spotting on here. Really rich spotting on here, you can see. This is beautiful crema. Okay, let's smell it. Smells pretty intense, not gonna lie. Let's mix this. And then, all right, let's try this. So there's a lot of harshness in this actually. I'm not getting much acidity, but I'm getting kind of a bite that you get with traditional espresso. There's a little bit of bitterness in here that I normally don't get when I make this coffee by myself. This is very much what I would expect to get from, let's say, a regular coffee shop that's not Starbucks, that's not super bitter. But this isn't really that great. It just has a bit of a bite. It's definitely a coffee. It's not bad. It's just coffee. All right, now this one is just gonna be a pure basic pre-infusion. I'm just gonna let it soak the puck. I'm gonna let 3, 4, 5 drops come through, and then I'm gonna try and pull the shot again. All right, let's get started. Now this is pretty fine, so it's probably gonna take a while for some drops to come out. We'll see. Oh, here we go, first drop. Second drop. I'll do it to fourth drop. Third drop. Fourth drop. Okay, now let's try to go as high as I can. By the way, this is the worst angle to go if you're gonna do this. Ugh. I need to work my deltoids more. All right, great. All right, now let's look at the crema on this guy here. As you can see, it's still pretty complex here. There's a lot of spotting on it. Let me get the aroma smell on this first. Okay, this smells a lot more even. I'm gonna tell you, I feel like this is gonna be a lot less harsh. All right, let's taste this. Yeah, so a lot of that harshness is gone. I actually have a little bit more pronounced acidity on here. But instead of having that harsh bitterness, I'm starting to get a little bit of that taste now, that little bit of that harsh lingering bitterness, but it wasn't as pronounced in the beginning. This is a bit smoother of a drink. Let me try again. Yeah, so I don't get that really upfront harshness There's now a little bit of acidity, just a little bit that you associate with medium roast compared to dark roast. But overall, I like this shot more than the one I had before. So now we did the basic Cremina pre-infusion before. Now I'm gonna do a pre-infusion at around 3 bar for about 2 grams, and then we'll pull out the full 8 bars. We'll see if I can do that. All right, let's go. All right, now let's get to 3 bars. And let's stick here for a bit. For 2 grams. Okay, now let's go up to 8. Once again, this is the worst angle to do a Cremina pull. All right. Check out the crema here. So this is a very interesting pattern of crema here. There's a little black dot. I thought I dropped something in it first, but I think this is just just some spotting, I guess. But this overall has a much smoother appearance to it. Let me smell it. Okay, so this is a lot more smoother, not as strong of an aroma, so I don't think there's going to be as much bite or bitterness in here. But oh, check out this foam. This foam is beautiful on this crema. Wow, this is like mousse almost. I haven't really made crema like this before. That's nice. Okay. All right, let's taste this. Wow, this is even smoother than before. I'm really getting a much sweeter taste, like the hints of sweetness, almost like caramelly syrup comes out in this. I wouldn't say syrup like sweet, because I don't get that sugar sweetness, but I'm getting almost like the way that I would remember eating some really nice caramel, and the flavor, not the sweetness, but the flavor of the caramel sits on the tongue. Let me get another sip. Yeah, this one's a lot smoother. There's like no lingering bitterness at all. The acidity, which is more pronounced before, is much more evened out here. This is way more balanced than what I had before. All right, so now let's do a really long pre-infusion of 5 grams at 5 bar, and then try to bring it up to 8 bars and see what happens. All right, let's go. All right, there we go. All right. All right. Oh, shit. I burned myself on the stream. So I had a little bit of a spill, as you can see. I got my finger on the stream and it shocked me, so I spilled a bit. So the crema here is really, really smooth, as you can see. There's no tiger spotting, whatever. Let's taste it. Okay, this still has a very continued kind of like muted, very mixed. Muted is a bad word. It feels like it's very smooth, not as much complexity. Like last time, it seems like everything's gonna be a smooth shot, but let's see how this goes. All right, let's try this. Yeah, now I'm starting to get more of like coffee flavor, not espresso. Yeah, the flavor is a lot more flatter, a lot softer and finer. I still have kind of the taste of what I had before when I did the 3-bar pre-infusion for a short amount of time, but there's less intensity of flavor. There's less interesting stuff in it. This actually almost, it seems to be closer to brew coffee for me than to actual espresso. I mean, that's probably because we did such a low pressure. Let me taste again. Yeah, those I can tell you there's no bitterness at all. There's a little bit of a sweetness to it, but everything is still kind of weak. There's a flavor, but I'm not getting that oomph that I really like. Okay, so what did we learn here? Well, we learned when you're taking the espresso away to not burn your hand on the stream coming out. That's number one. But we also learned that depending on the type of pre-infusion, it's really, really different. So if you want to get more of like acidity out of your coffee, you might want to start with a lower pre-infusion of like 1 to 2 bars at the very beginning, like what I did. If you want to get an overall rounded flavor, you might want to shoot for a 3-bar pre-infusion from the get-go. And actually, I think I haven't tried that until then. The instructions always said to raise the lever and wait for the coffee to come out before you pull the shot. But I think I'm just gonna start doing a pre-infusion at 3-bar now because that tasted really good. But we also learned that if you want to get the harshness of the flavors in it, you should go for the traditional espresso profile of no pre-infusion, directly going to the full pressure. So a great thing about pre-infusion is that it can really, like I said, even out your extraction and make your coffee taste better, make it taste smoother, make the flavors work together more. Yeah, like I said before, I really feel like pressure really tends to emphasize the flavor at the higher the pressure you're at. So if you have a high pressure for the whole thing, every single flavor, good and bad, is emphasized, and it's gonna make a lot of harshness in your flavor. But if you want to have a more evenly extracted espresso, you might want to do a lower pre-infusion at first, and that'll get rid of some of the acidity in your coffee. But then as you can bring it up right as you're hitting that sweet spot in the extraction to really emphasize those flavors, and then slowly bring down the pressure as it goes on to get rid of those bitter flavors in it. But yeah, I think that's great. I learned a lot from this experiment. It's changed how I'm going to do my coffee from now on. But let me know in the comments below, did you guys find something interesting? Was there another kind of pressure profile you wanted me to try? Let me know in the description box below, and I'll be sure to check it out.